What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Brutal Legend was a title, guys, that came out around that, that music era almost of popular games to play within the music industry. And this was a title, guys, that really, at the end of the day, it was an action adventure and, real-time strategy game that was created by Double Fine and then, of course, published by Electronic Arts. And I want to talk about this title, guys, as to, what happened to Brutal Legend and why did we never get a sequel to this title? This had some pretty special elements to it, without a doubt. And I want to talk about it, break it down with all of you. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, Brutal Legend, it really felt like it was mixing music with, of course, action adventure and real-time strategy and such in a number of different ways, and those worlds really collided. And with that being said, this was a title that came out October of 2009. And what happened here? Well, guys, according to the Brutal Legend official Wikipedia page, Double Fine believed they were given the go-ahead to develop a sequel to Brutal Legend after the game's release, and it had invested a great deal of development time towards this, but were later told by EA that it was canceled. Schafer stated that the sequel would likely incorporate much of what they had to drop prior to the game's release. This game would have been 3 times larger than the Brutal Legend contained. The sequel would have likely included a 4th faction that was cut from the original game, which would have been the last major group the player would have to fight through, including a major boss character before the final battles with Doviculus. Schafer further noted that at the end of the original game, Doviculus's head falls into the sea of black tears, and implied that the same effect that the sea had on Ophelia could happen to Doviculus. Schafer also had ideas for a plot using a character voiced by Ronnie James Dio, but will not likely be used due to Dio's death. The cancellation of the sequel nearly ruined Double Fine, as they had invested all current efforts towards the title. Instead of a sequel, Double Fine began work on 4 smaller projects: Costume Quest, Stacking, Iron Brigade, and Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster, based on prototypes they had created from Amnesia Fortnights during the development period, where they had lacked a publisher. In these 2-week sessions, the Double Fine team was split into 4 groups, and each tasked with creating a small prototype game to share with the rest of the company. All 4 minigames were well received internally. Upon hearing of the cancellation of the sequel, Schafer and his team began to promote these games around and were able to obtain publishing deals for all 4 titles. The games will be able to take advantage of the custom game world engine and other assets they had created for Brutal Legend. The titles were considered financial successes, allowing Double Fine to recover and pursue further game development, though steering away from major AAA releases. As of 2013, Schafer is still interested in a sequel to Brutal Legend, but would require appropriate funding and resources to make it happen as an independent developer. Since then, Double Fine launched a successful crowd-funded drive for Psychonauts 2 in December 2015. Schafer said that if that game does well, there's a good chance that a sequel to Brutal Legend would be possible. Tim Schafer said June 13th during an appearance at E3 2017 that Brutal Legend will eventually get a sequel. So that's really exciting, guys. That very last line is the bread and butter. Tim Schafer said June 13th during an appearance of E3 2017 that Brutal Legend will eventually get a sequel. Now look, guys, there's sometimes not a rhyme or reason for why games get canceled or, obviously don't get a sequel, but usually there's a couple of things that happen. And the first one is, of course, sales, but the second one is the reception of the title. So because at the end of the day, guys, it all comes down to money. But at the same time, EA, being the developer, or I should say the publisher, they want to see good numbers, obviously, from a sales perspective. They want to also see if it's well received. Well, if we look at the reception for Brutal Legend, we're talking on Metacritic, very credible source, 83 out of 100 on PS3, 82 out of 100 on Xbox 360, and 80 out of 100 from PC. Game Informer gave it an 8 out of 10. GameSpot gave it 8.5 out of 10. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. What that tells me is that the reception was absolutely great for Brutal Legend. I loved it, guys. Many other people really enjoyed it as well. I think that it definitely should have played a part in this as far as from a sequel perspective in the gaming landscape. So now let's talk about the sales. Well, according to the MPD Group, Brutal Legend sold approximately 215,000 copies in the United States in October of 2009, with about 150,000 copies being for the Xbox 360 platform, making it the 12th top-selling game in that month. These numbers were not considered to be strong and were attributed to the difficult marketing of the game, which emphasized Jack Black's involvement and the heavy metal nature of the game, but did not assert what the gameplay would actually be like, with the possibility that the mention of the RTS elements of the game would have possibly driven more players away from the game. In an interview in 2011, February, Schafer claimed that the game had sold over 1.4 million copies. According to data collected through Nielsen SoundScan, some songs contained within Brutal Legend's soundtrack saw digital sales increases of up to 700% following the game's release, similar to the effects of Guitar Hero and Rock Band, though impact on overall sales of these songs was rather small. So, okay, if we talk about this, obviously you look at Brutal Legend and you start kind of thinking about games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, but just different, right? Like action adventure with RTS elements, really a different style game. And that's why I loved Brutal Legend. That being said, when we look at the sales, guys, this is most likely, it has to really, when you break it down from a reception perspective to sales, the reception's great, the sales are mediocre. And that's really what I feel was what doomed the sequel at this point in time, was obviously having Jack Black having a decent amount of involvement in the game, which obviously costed some money. It was, they invested heavily into the game as well. It was an expensive game to make. And selling 215,000 copies, I mean, it's not terrible. Selling that in the entire month of entire month. I mean, it's not horrible in October of 2009, but at the same time, it's not great. Selling 1.4 million copies, I mean, it's still sold copies. There's no doubt about it, guys. Over 1 million copies, I mean, that's pretty good, but it wasn't great. And that's what I'm getting at here, is that the sales, I think, is what really affected it. And that's why EA decided to shut it down, because they probably felt that they were going to continue having to pay a lot of money for like marketing and things of that nature. And it wasn't like a super popular game like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. But with that being said, guys, do I think there will be a sequel? I do. They say that there's going to be a sequel. I believe that there will be at some point or another. It really comes down to us as the community, though, voicing our opinion to the developers, voicing that we want this game to exist in today's gaming landscape. And the more that happens, guys, the more that we talk about, the more content we create about it, all of those things really are going to help. And they do make a difference when we talk about getting a game continued or a game staying in a limbo state or a state of no return. But with that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Would you guys want to see a Brutal Legend 2, or do you think it should just stay a piece of history of the video game industry? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Brutal Legend 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Vanquish was one of the most interesting shooters ever made, in my opinion, guys. And I've always wondered, are they going to make a sequel to Vanquish? This is a title, guys, that I feel needs to be made at some point or another. I felt like it should have been made a long time ago, but we have not heard a lot of information. It's been pretty scarce as to, the information that's come out about a sequel to Vanquish, and a title that I really do believe needs to be made. That being said, though, we're going to talk about Vanquish 2 in this segment of the show. And, will this be a game that ever comes out in the foreseeable future? So let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Francesco Di Maio of WCCF Tech, Vanquish 2 is currently in development as Xbox One exclusive game. So Vanquish, originally released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, is still today one of the most interesting shooter games ever released. Platinum Games expressed multiple times the desire to develop another entry in the series, and it looks like the Japanese developer has already started working on the game. Now, industry insider Marcus Sellers recently posted a message on Discord revealed that Vanquish 2 is indeed in the works as an Xbox One exclusive game. Nothing else has been said about the matter, but it's unlikely that it will be directed by Shinji Mikami, as he has left Platinum Games to run his studio Tango Gameworks, the team behind the Evil Within series. As it usually is with rumors, we have to take it with a grain of salt until an official confirmation comes out. Vanquish has also been released last year on PC, coming with additional features and enhanced graphical options. Vanquish 2 has yet to be confirmed officially, but we will surely learn more about the matter if the game is indeed in the works. So, this article was written in 2018, guys, February 2018. So you definitely got to take it with a pinch of salt, because obviously the rumors were that it was going to come out on Xbox One and be an Xbox One exclusive. Well, we're already on the Xbox Series X. So that hasn't happened at this point in time. So let's kind of dig a little deeper into this. So the couple of things that obviously can be the reason for a delay in a game coming out, or a cancellation of a sequel, or, a possible limbo state or state of no return for a title, comes down to the reception and the sales. So let's talk about the reception and sales of Vanquish. So the sales, guys. The PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions of the game respectively debuted at number 4, 48,318 units, and number 14 on Japanese sales charts during their release week. By February 2011, the game had sold 820,000 copies worldwide. By March 2011, the game had sold 830 copies worldwide on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 platforms. By July 1st, 2018, the PC version had approximately 143,289 players. As of December 2018, Steam Spy estimates that the game has sold over 200,000 copies on Steam alone. So, when you start thinking about a really interesting shooter like Vanquish, these are decent numbers. Now, they're not mind-blowing numbers, guys, by any stretch of the imagination. And part of the reason why this game is still maybe in that kind of limbo state, or that state where they're trying to get it made, but, they haven't been able to get it greenlit by a major publisher yet, is probably somewhere in the line of those numbers not being, the shooter that, obviously is going to compete against Call of Duty and such, which it doesn't have to be, in my opinion. I feel like this could be a shooter that can be as interesting as the first one was. It can be something very different, and that's what I think was special about the first Vanquish. You didn't need to be like Call of Duty or Battlefield or one of these titles nowadays. It just needed to be itself, and it was. Now let's look at the reception, guys. So we look at from a review perspective. On Metacritic, got 84 out of 100 on PS3, 84 out of 100 on Xbox 360. That's pretty great. And then when we look at, GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. IGN, 8.5 out of 10. The lowest out of all of them was GameZone, gave it 7 out of 10. And what I'm getting at, guys, is the reception was pretty great. It was, let's say, good to great, without a doubt. I mean, overall, I thought it did really good. It got a number of awards from, obviously being nominated for a number of awards. So what I'm getting at, guys, is that Vanquish 2 is definitely a title that could come out at some point or another. It's just one of those things that we as the community, once again, has to be the voice of this title. We have to voice it into existence by creating groups around it, group chats like on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever it is, guys. And then, talking about it on Reddit, creating content around it on YouTube. And those are all ways that you can really start building momentum around it. Adding the developers, adding the publishers, and all of that can also help, using the hashtag Vanquish2. Those things all help in a major way. Like, it may not seem like much, but it really can be something that can make a massive difference down the journey. But let me know, guys, what do you think happened to Vanquish? Do you think it was a combination of a number of things as to why we never got a sequel at this point? Do you think it's something that's in a development hell cycle, something that could be being worked on at this point, but is obviously having some issues from like creative differences? What do you guys think's going on here? Let me know, and let's have a real conversation about it in the comment section down below. And for more Vanquish 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Demon Souls was a title, guys, from Software, and this is a title that I've been really wondering if it could very well get a sequel at some point or another. There's been leaks and speculation and rumblings that we were going to get a sequel at some point or another. But with that being said, I want to talk about this and really talk in depth about Demon Souls 2, the potential sequel. Is this something that we could be seeing at some point from Software? So let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Danny Lee Collins of Looper, Demon Souls helped establish an entirely new gaming genre. From Software, led by visionary director Hidetaki Miyazaki, formulated a dark, unforgiving gameplay style that forever became Souls-like. So only Sony can greenlight the next Demon Souls game. In an interview with Game Informer, Miyazaki revealed it's up to Sony to decide whether the Demon Souls series continues or receives a remaster. This echoes his statement about a Bloodborne sequel. Even though the decision is out of his hands, Miyazaki admitted he's hesitant to return to the world of Demon Souls. So this is exactly what he said, guys. He said, "It's not that I'm embarrassed. I just don't like to look at my previous works," Miyazaki commented. Demon Souls was the first game he directed, and while it was considered a success, his later titles have benefited from his years of experience. Despite this discomfort, Miyazaki said he understood some fans were clamoring for more Demon Souls content. Though the concept makes him nervous, he would be open to a remaster or sequel by a trusted studio. So I think it's, fair enough to say, guys, that Miyazaki doesn't want any parts of Demon Souls or Demon Souls 2, I should say, or like a remaster. I think that there's still a fan base around this title that would definitely want even just a remaster, but I think a sequel would be absolutely awesome, guys. I think it could be something really special, and with the right studio, and then obviously Miyazaki maybe as like a producer or something of that nature where he's not got his hands all over it, I think it could be something pretty special. Now, that's just me, guys. When we talk about like medieval titles and things of that nature, obviously, some are amazing, some aren't as good, and some can be more difficult than others, and obviously there's a style for everyone. Right now, From Software, what they are working on at this point, though, guys, being Elden Ring, is something that I'm very excited about. So I'm okay with putting Demon Souls on hold to see how good Elden Ring is, and once we're able to really dive into that game and play it for what it is and really just sink our teeth into it, we'll kind of have a good idea. Maybe they have some spiritual successor elements to Demon Souls. It'll be interesting to say the least. But that being said, a Demon Souls remaster may be in the works at Blue Point Games. So Blue Point Games handled the 2018 Shadow of the Colossus remake. The company is reportedly working on another remaster, which just might be Demon Souls. A January 2020 tweet from the developer seemed to tease a Demon Souls remake, sporting the caption, "Stay hungry, #reset era." The tweet may reference a Demon Souls discussion that popped up on Reset Era the day prior. The accompanying image appears to hold further clues, including a blue flower or head of cabbage that resembles a Demon Souls item, and text that could be a jab at the original game's notoriously slow loading times. Now, that would be something interesting, guys, but here's where I really think we're going with this when a Demon Souls 2 is being talked about. Right now, From Software is working on Elden Ring, a mysterious collaboration with Song of Ice and Fire author George R.R. Martin. The dark fantasy title appears to be a massive undertaking. Martin wrote the overarching mythos that served as the game's foundation, leaving the developers to construct a game using Martin's complex setting and narrative. Though it draws some influence from Dark Souls, Elden Ring encompasses a large world complete with new systems and mechanics. Perhaps once From Software wraps up work on Elden Ring, it will be free to consider dusting off older franchises and formulating sequels. Now, I think Elden Ring is going to be massive, guys. I really do. And this could be the future of From Software. They could very well go in that direction instead of the direction of Demon Souls. Now, at the same time, guys, even though I love Demon Souls, Elden Ring could be like the next thing that is something very, very special and something that we want to play for the foreseeable future and have sequels of that one moving forward. I think Elden Ring has that written all over it. I mean, George R.R. Martin, guys, obviously creating, having this collaboration with him on Elden Ring. You got to think that this could be something that is very special, could be game of the year type of material. Now, could they go back and start working on other games? Absolutely. But obviously, guys, when we start talking about the medieval titles and things of that nature, I think From Software has this down. I mean, they've really knocked it out of the park. And I think Demon Souls was kind of, one of those foundational points maybe, whereas Elden Ring could really be their step into like this unbelievable realm for the future. It could be something really special, guys, and could be one of those games that really is up there with like Dark Souls and all those other games. Demon Souls takes references and is like a spiritual successor to them in some ways or another. It'll be very interesting to see. I think a lot of our answers are going to be within Elden Ring as to if From Software will be coming back to do a Demon Souls 2 at any point in the foreseeable future. But with that being said, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you want to see a Demon Souls 2? And where is Demon Souls 2 at this point in time? Do you think that they're waiting until to see how well Elden Ring does? Or what are your guys' thoughts on it? Do you think we'll ever get a sequel to Demon Souls? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Demon Souls 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, guys, make sure you guys leave a thumbs up. Helps out the YouTube channel in a massive way. Subscribe if you're new. That'll help you get notified every single time that we have a new video that goes up on the YouTube channel. Stay positive, guys. Just keep grinding. And as always, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.